Welcome back to RLPS News. Today's highlight is scientists have found a new dwarf planet and it is the farthest dwarf planet ever seen in the solar system. This dwarf planet is about 103 AU from the Sun, making it the record holder for the most distant object in the solar system. They call the newly discovered planet V774104. The previous record holder was Eris, which was about 97 AU from the Sun. The discovery was made by Scott Shepard, who is from the Carnegie Institution for Science at the American Astronomical Society's Division for Planetary Sciences. Scott, Chad Trujillo, and David Tholen used Japan's 8-meter Subaru telescope, which is in Hawaii, to make the find. This discovery proves that our solar system is bigger than we thought, said Joseph Burns from Cornell University. The planet is estimated to be 500 to 1,000 kilometers in diameter, but the astrophysicists need some more time to find the object's exact size and orbit. The object must be big if we can see it at such a distance. If V774104 comes closer to the Sun, then it would be considered a KBO, Kuiper Belt object. Something interesting to think about is what Shepard calls the inner Oort clouds, which they thought were mostly empty. But Sedna and 2012 VP113 and V774104 were found there. These planets don't ever come closer to the Sun than 50 AU, and they have a semi-major axis of more than 150 AU. The eccentric orbit is unknown. This interests astronomers because they expected the inner Oort clouds to be mostly empty, but they have discovered 3 planets that are in the inner Oort clouds. I'll see you next week at 8:30 in the morning on RLPS News.
This happened on November 15, 2015. Scientists discover a new species of frog. Kermit the Frog is from the movie Muppets, and the frog they found in Costa Rica looks exactly like that. The frog they found is known as a type of glass frog. And glass frogs are known by how their tummy looks. We can see right through them. The announcement was made by the Costa Rican Amphibian Research Group on November the 13th. And here comes Nancy with more breaking news.
Hello, welcome back to our Relaxing News. While the friendly match was going on against Germany versus Netherlands, the match was cancelled short notice due to a serious threat of an attack on Tuesday at the stadium. They had a concert evidence that someone wanted to set off an explosive device in the stadium, referring to another bomb threat. About in a 1 hour beforehand, that turned out to be a false alert.
In hospital after fire in cities Broughton.
Hi, this is Kieran and today's story is a fascinating story. A man in his 40s has been airlifted to Toronto's St. Michael Hospital in critical conditions after a car rolled over on the westbound Highway 403 in Mississauga Sunday afternoon. The car rolled over on the highway at Winston Churchill Boulevard. One other person was injured. The extent of the person's injury is not yet known. All westbound lanes of the highway were closed at Aaron Mills Parkway to allow for a helicopter to land and clean up the investigation.
Real Madrid lost by FC Barcelona.
A 5-year-old boy has been airlifted to a hospital with life-threatening injuries after being pulled from a fire in Acton. The fire broke out at a home at 58 Canada's Drive Tuesday afternoon. A spokesperson from the Halton Hills Fire Department said, according to reports from the scene, the boy was once suffering from smoke inhalation. The boy was known as Andrew Collins. Andrew and his mom and dad were in critical condition when transported to the hospital. This incident took place in Mississauga.
Winnipeg police say former NHL defenseman Ian White
was arrested in Winnipeg early Friday afternoon and detained in custody. Constable Aaron Hoffley, public information officer with Winnipeg Police, sent an email to the Canadian press on Sunday night. White has been charged with several weapon-related offenses.
Speak out.
Today's news is about 8 babies were found at an apartment baby at German on Sunday.
Police are looking for public's help in identifying those people who are responsible to fire 20 bullets at a house in Niagara Falls. Police say the incidents occurred on Sunday morning. Officers found the home had sustained significant damage from the gunfire. The house was specifically targeted by suspects and the incident was not a random act of violence. There were no injuries. The victims are not cooperating with investigators and are asking anyone with information to contact them. Police are concerned because the incidents exposed neighboring families to serious risk of injuries or death.
Hello, this is reporter Raikaf, and welcome back to Ray's Roaring News channel. Let's take a look at today's news. Our Turkish Airlines A330 passenger jet was diverted to Halifax late Saturday night because of a bomb scare. It has resumed its flight to Istanbul, Turkey, Sunday morning. Halifax Stanfield Airport confirmed the takeoff by a Twitter post Sunday morning. RCMP had earlier tweeted that the aircraft and the passengers' luggage had been searched and no explosive device was found. The flight, which had 256 people on board, took off from New York City and was rerouted to Halifax, where it landed without incident just after midnight local time. Police said bomb-sniffing dogs were brought in to search the plane and wouldn't comment further on the nature of the threat. Last week, an Air France flight bound for Paris was diverted to Halifax, and a second flight was diverted to Salt Lake City, Utah, due to anonymous threats, but nothing was found on either aircraft. Thank you for listening to our news, and we will have another reporter on the speaker after a very short break.
6-foot deep river. The firefighters pulled her out. She's alive now, but she was very critical before. This happened on Monday, November 16th, 2015.
2 people were injured when fire breaks out in a home east of Bronzeview Park, and an elderly man was found in the basement and was pronounced dead at the scene. Firefighters searched the home after the flames to find out where the fire started, but the fire may have started in the basement.
A house was burnt down on Saturday night. The police received a call at 9:31 p.m. The house was on Merchants Avenue, south of Taunton Road. 21 firefighters came. At 11 p.m. the fire flames were in control. No firefighters and no one was injured.
Islamic State releases picture of bomb which appears to have took down the Russian plane. The Islamic State group has released a picture of the bomb caption that said that it was going to bring down a Russian passenger plane in Egypt last month, killing all 224 people on board. The picture showed a yellow can of a flavored soda marketed in Egypt and what appeared to be other bomb components made out of plastic and metal. The group also published a picture of what it said were passports belonging to people who died in the plane crash. Here's what others say. To bring down an airplane, you don't need to blow it apart. You just need enough to We punctured the pressure hull of the aircraft, and the air pressure will do the work for you, he said. You don't really need to do all that.
2 people injured after a home caught on fire on November 22nd, 2015. At around 2:30 p.m. on this afternoon, said Toronto paramedics. A person who lived there, most likely the person was David Eckerman. He said it was mostly likely at 2:30, and the alarms rang at 3:42 p.m. with the flames getting bigger and bigger by the second in the home basement. There was this other man who lived there, but sadly has died in the basement. The fire was mostly from the basement because most likely from the basement because there were usage of chemicals there that were found. Also, as many of 40 firefighters came to the scene. Police are investigating a home invasion that may have led to an 82-year-old woman's death inside her Scarborough home. The 82-year-old woman was found in her home on Alford Boulevard in Richmond Road and St. Clair Avenue area at around 4:30 p.m. Wednesday. Police also say that her death may be linked to a robbery close by.
An elderly man was pronounced dead when his basement caught on fire. A woman had inhaled some smoke and is in hospital. On Sunday afternoon at 2:30, firefighters and paramedics were called. Police say that they didn't find any irregular chemicals. Only normal household chemicals were found. The fire happened at 19 Vinci Crescent.
A 5-year-old boy has been airlifted to a hospital with life-threatening injuries after being pulled from a fire in Acton. The fire broke out at a home at 58 Canada's Drive Tuesday afternoon. A spokesperson from the Halton Hills Fire Department said, according to reports from the scene, the boy was found suffering from smoke inhalation. The boy was known as Andrew Collins. Andrew and his mom and dad were in critical condition when transported to the hospital. This incident took place in Mississauga.